Okay, I think I'm live now. There we go. New setup today, experimenting with Restream as a streaming platform here instead of just straight up OBS, just tinkering around with some of this stuff. All right, so overnight, yesterday, I had got done saying I'm interested in the 750 area um, on the US 30 on the Dow, but I was waiting for it to show me more evidence as to which way it wanted to move. So as of this candle right here, it looked like it wanted to, this bullish engulfing candle. It looked like it would, if I only saw this candle, I would assume that it wanted to keep moving upwards, right? That if I only had that piece of evidence, it looks like it wants to at least clear the 2000 and then maybe even keep going higher with making new highs, despite the fact that fundamentally speaking, we're in a time of great fear right now with like banking, the global banking industry in big trouble. Despite that, you could still see some short-term bullish movement and then, fake everybody out and then clear everybody and then, go back down because the trend is still down on the higher time frame. So I was looking for as a day trader and slash swing trader, you look for what the evidence for what you get, for what the market gives you. It didn't give me that though. It actually turned around and I was like, this is puzzling because what caused such a sharp turnaround? And we have to look at the other brothers, so to speak, because the four indices are like four brothers, and the evidence was most clear on the Nasdaq. So this is a technique that I kind of gotten forgot about, actually, but it is when you compare the four indices all at the same time. This is an example of how you would do that with just in terms of percentages. So yesterday, what we found was the Nasdaq was the strongest. Let me just get clear on this here. Let me shorten the time frame a little bit. I had it yesterday. I had yesterday's chart. Yesterday was the 15th. Okay, here it is. So yesterday, Wednesday, March 15th, I'm just going to move. It always lines up to the zero and makes everybody the same on the very left. That's the way that this trading view thing works. So I'm just going to do it near the open yesterday. Right around 8 a.m. is when the pre-market activity happens. And yesterday, the NASDAQ, so you can color code it. So the NASDAQ is the teal line, and NASDAQ was the strongest. But then, and from that perspective, we use that as a frame point. It still is technically the strongest because it had so much upward momentum. But what happens with this is when the strongest index reaches a sell zone and it reverses, typically what will happen is it'll reverse the other indexes along with it because usually these four brothers travel together. And that's pretty much exactly what happened yesterday. So the NASDAQ ran into this sell zone first, this area, this resistance area, supply. Different people call it different things, but you have a nice little rally base space drop that made a new low. This is a very nice zone here. Some people might argue it's not fresh because it's been used, but that doesn't, in my experience, that doesn't mean that it's a bad zone. If anything, that strengthens the case. Although eventually all zones break, right? That's just the nature of trading. So it's also right at the 325, near the 250 area. It's a good zone. That's it. met that zone yesterday during the Globex session, and it reversed. So what does that mean? So it's like, I don't know if you can see this on the screen with the red line. That's the end of the session, end of the regular session. So after that is when everything else reversed too, even though on the S&P 500, it didn't hit that zone. The NASDAQ hit it first. And on the US 30, which is what I trade the most, it was even more obvious. It did not hit that zone, right? This area is where what I was interested in, the 270 or the 175, this beautiful upside down kangaroo tail or shooting star candle, upside down hammer candle, beautiful candle that I wanted to trade, didn't hit it because the leading brother reversed it before it had a chance to get there. Same situation with the Russell, right? The Russell, it's even more obvious that it didn't, like, the discrepancy is even more obvious. It's just a clean downtrend. Like, look at the way that this looks versus the way that the NASDAQ looks. It doesn't look like it's moving together at all, really. But reversals happen usually near the same time, not necessarily in the same area, but definitely more often than not in the same time. So when the NASDAQ turns around at, like, let's say, let's use this candle right here at, on my calendar, 2000 hours, right, at 20, so that is at 8 p.m. That's around when same candle, same bullish candle that kind of met resistance, even though there's no real sign of resistance here, really, not an obvious one. I guess this candle, maybe, certainly not in the it certainly looks like it's in the middle of the area. It's in the middle of the choppy area on the Dow as well, right? 2000 hours right there. Okay, so this just further cements my case of, like, yeah, I should look at the other indices even more, right? Before, I was looking at them because I was having issues with just slipping on the US 30, on the Dow, and I wanted to get a better frame of reference because I felt like I was losing my grip on understanding and getting a read on the market. But after yesterday, the aha moment is like, oh my god, I completely forgot about this technique that I learned a couple of years ago, when it was like I was trying to do more futures scalping throughout the day and stuff like that. And it was a different technique that wasn't a really good fit. Or rather, I learned this technique learning to trade a style that wasn't a really good fit, but the technique and the analysis actually was really powerful because it made sense of the market in a way that just traditional candlestick formations and technical analysis on one chart, it is insufficient. You look at it provides more confluence and a better sense of a holistic view of the market by looking at all four major U.S. indices. So obviously, none of that is related to any of the trades that I placed, but right now I'm looking at the 750. I didn't look at this this reversal until maybe 8 something in the morning. So I placed the order for 750, but I might not even get it. I don't know. I'm interested in it because there are on the 15-minute time frame, right? I do have this. it's what this candle, this bearish engulfing candle, is nice. It happened twice. There's a lot of chop here that makes me feel like it's not as clean and fresh looking as I want it to be. And it couldn't even clear a full quarter after the fact, right? This also happened at 7 a.m. I don't know if there was any kind of news announcement today at 7 a.m. or anything like that. I don't think there was, but there was just a significant bearish engulfing candle, came back up. This is a sign to get back in right at the 750. Nice looking candle that is with the larger time frame trend. Happened again, and I missed both because I wasn't awake yet. And this was this 8:30 candle was right around. I was up, but I wasn't looking at the markets yet. I typically don't try to look at the charts as the first thing as I wake up. It's usually not the way that I want to start my day. So I wish that I was, though, in this case, because this would have been a nice move. We'll see what happens. I'm also interested in do I have alerts set up? I do have alerts set up at the 500, and I want to see what happens here again, possibly taking another counter trend, depending on what the momentum does, possibly taking a long counter trend at the 425 again. That was my winner from yesterday. Or no, actually, that was the loser from yesterday, but the winner was still the same move that I took on the way back up, confirmation from the 500 to the 750. So not much happening right now. I think the markets are going to be very choppy, up and down. If this completely reverses on me and makes a new high, I might want to get out of the way for this as well. But I just don't see that happening because of the fundamental fear and the negativity and the uncertainty that is surrounding the whole world right now with the whole banking system in disarray, essentially. So looking for shorts still, looking for the 750, not really looking for it on any of the other indices. I'll be interested in, because the NASDAQ is at the top of the range. And technically, I think it is still the strongest market, even if I were to only look at it from from 8 a.m. this morning. That's the way that I learned the technique. Look at it from 8 a.m. is when the market starts to become most active. I can't even use the scale because the percentage is fixed. So I can't squeeze this in or spread this out. No, I can't. No, it changes the line drastically. Okay. It's a little bit annoying. The guy that taught me this he would use not TradingView. I'm using TradingView. He used Thinkorswim, and it just looks better. But this is like the closest approximation that you get on TradingView, and it's squished and ugly, but you can't do anything about it. Anyway, so NASDAQ is the strongest. So if I'm looking for, excuse me for a second. Silence that call. Don't want that. So if I'm looking for reversals, I'm looking for the NASDAQ to reverse first because it's leading to the upside, and it's probably going to run into any kind of traffic the fastest, the earliest. So I am kind of interested in the NASDAQ right now because it is near that high. It is near that top of the range, right around the 325. We'll see what happens. I kind of want to, maybe I'll put one in there. I only have one order here, right? So if anything, in this case, my NASDAQ order, if I were to put one on, would probably hit first, and this would probably be technically the backup. Okay. So I'll put one on. Technically, the 325 is a new high. It's a little bit outside of my range, but that would be the setup right there. So what I'm looking for is for it to like wick up and just grab it slightly. If it starts closing above this, that's like making new highs. If it's closing above this wick, it's like, uh-oh. I mean, I might be wrong here. And this could all be a waste. The more aggressive approach would be to play this downward and do a sell stop order at the 250. I'm not going to do that though. Too aggressive. I've done that before, and it like typically doesn't work out. It doesn't do my psychology well, right? It makes me feel like right now I would have gotten picked up, and I would have been like, oh my god, hopefully it reverses, and it doesn't do me any favors psychologically speaking. I do much better just laying traps, as I call it, and then just not looking at it again. It either works or it doesn't. If I get alerted to move my stop to break even, I do that and then walk away. This would have been the best move. The 750 to 500 is this would have been the best. Let's see. And anything on the S&P? No, well, the S&P, the only comments I have on the S&P is that the size of the traps that I lay is often going to be, just like it was the past 2 days. It was just too big. I never made it to this sell limit, and although I think it would have worked, right? If I were to gotten picked up, like this was literally 0.2, 0.2 points, 0.2, ridiculous. And it would have been a nice trade. If this got me picked up, this right here was hold on. The low was 0.6. 0.6 points. This would have been a winner too. It just wasn't. It just didn't want to pick me up. And I mean, I could start front running it a little bit, right? I know some people do that when they trade the quarters. They go into the 30s, and they like the 20s and 30s, and they like the 70s and 80s because they want to front run it a little bit. That's a slippery slope for me psychologically, but these are times when it's like, damn, if I had done that, I would have had two beautiful winners in a row, back to back. Pick the top, pick the bottom. Missed out though. If I were on a different broker, I might have had this, right? Because different brokers have different spreads, but these are like massive like teases back to back. I pretty much nailed the top and bottom exactly, and it just didn't want to give me either one. All right. Well, I have my trap set for the day, and that's it.